one individual who, after all, exists purely according to their political masters or mistresses.
I think this is the government trying to say that they do have a domestic agenda. They are trying to implement policies beyond Brexit, and they are looking to a future after October the 31st. There's a lot of anger out there, as you've said. Are you fueling it with your betrayal?
No, I'm focusing it. I don't want people just to be mad. I want them to get even and to do it in a positive way.
Here in Huddersfield, something like 55% of people voted to leave the EU. And tonight, some people are giving up their Monday evening to show their support for the all-new Brexit party, led by former UKIP leader Nigel Farage. Sonia Khan, a special advisor to the Chancellor of the Exchequer Sajid Javid, was led away from Downing Street in pretty dramatic fashion on Thursday night after being questioned by Boris Johnson's de facto Chief of Staff, Dominic Cummings. Now, this all comes ahead of what promises to be an extremely turbulent week in politics. We have a group of MPs in Parliament who are opposed to Boris Johnson's Brexit plans, who will be trying to legislate at breakneck speed this week to avoid a no-deal outcome, make it illegal for Boris Johnson to pursue that outcome. Boris Johnson, for his part, has said that he will go ahead with a no-deal exit if he can't reach a new accommodation, a new deal with the EU by October the 31st. But Boris Johnson's decision to prorogue or suspend Parliament just days after MPs returned from their summer break this week leaves those opposition MPs very little room indeed for manoeuvre. It's going to prove extremely difficult for them to be able to legislate in the very narrow window of time that is now available to them.
And there's been, John, a real backlash, hasn't there, about that suspension of Parliament?
There has. An awful lot of anger. All across Westminster, opposition MPs have been apoplectic with fury about Boris Johnson's plan to close Parliament. For his part, Boris Johnson says that this is all part of the routine operation of government, that it's less to do with Brexit and more to do with his desire to bring forward an ambitious domestic agenda. But protests outside of Westminster, all across the UK today about this. Clearly a lot of public anger to add to the political backlash that we've seen in Westminster.
John, thanks for your time. That's John Owen there, our political correspondent.
So Peter, you've inserted yourself into all sorts of really difficult debates. Today you're involving yourself in this very heated discussion inside the Muslim community in the UK. Is there ever a context where you think that is just too fraught, it's too difficult, I'm not going to engage because the risks are just too high?
I think the risks actually makes the action even more necessary.
And as a result, there's been considerable pressure on the government recently to slow the next phase of the rollout. Now, as you said, it's worth remembering that there's about 1 million people already on universal credit. And we now understand that the government has bowed to pressure and that that next phase of the rollout is due to be delayed, meaning that universal credit won't be fully functional until 2023 or thereabouts.
Against this idea, let's go to our reporter John Owen. He's in Parliament Square. John.
Hi Andrew, yes, as you can see, four-year-olds and their parents congregating here in Parliament Square. They're planning to deliver a 65,000 strong petition to Downing Street, calling on the government, as you say, to scrap plans to introduce tests for 4- and 5-year-olds as they start primary school. I'm joined by Catherine and her little boy Milo. Hello, Catherine.
Hi.
Hello, Milo. It's a question that still besets Northern Ireland.
We do feel betrayed, yes, absolutely we do.
How to deal justly with the legacy of a decades-long conflict.
The soldier who shot my uncle in the back while he was running away should be prosecuted.
I have a question to the Prime
And in
Minister.
recent weeks, tempers have flared in Westminster about how members of the armed forces should be held to account for their actions.
Why, Prime Minister, are you pandering to Sinn Féin IRA while throwing veterans like me to the wolves?
The anger comes after it emerged that new measures designed to enhance legal protections for service personnel who are alleged to have committed offences abroad won't apply to veterans who served in Northern Ireland. For many, it's a situation that leaves veterans vulnerable to the re-examination of allegations from decades ago, from which they believe they had been cleared. The conflict in Northern Ireland, better known as the Troubles, claimed the lives of around 3,500 people from the late 60s until the signing of the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. And although the violence here has largely come to a close, unanswered questions still remain around the circumstances of many of those deaths.